off a daily fantasy. His number too high, then I'm probably fading him. He been on the road, he gon' eat up my salary. I hit a buy, he gon' lie before lock. Play back to back, then I probably won't pick on the Dfs Bachelor, good as it gets. Build a few liners and hit me a leg. He had a good game, but it might be a trick. Log in the Slack so I know who to pick. Sharing our liners, we all gon' get rich. New to this game, you should come to the pad. You might want some cash and get a good laugh. Dfs Sports, we gon' run up a bag. He heard every game and it's making me mad. You buying your lineups, I think you a cheater. Dfs Bachelor, he the new leader, yeah.
What is up, everyone? Happy Football Friday. I, of course, am your host of Dfs Bachelor, and welcome to the Bachelor Pad. We're going to go over our Fanduel and Draftkings Millionaire Maker Core 4 picks. Everyone loves this video. We choose 4 guys who we think are in a nice spot to build your Millionaire Maker lineups around. Now, of course, it's not the only core I'm going to have, but right now this is my favorite one as we sit here today. First things first, a big thank you to all of you guys. I know I say it every video, but I really do mean it. It's truly humbling how many of you make me a part of your day. All the kind words, all the comments, liking the video, which helps the channel more than you know, so please hit that like button if you're inclined to do so. I really appreciate that so much. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button down below. Get access to all of our content, tons of NFL content throughout the week. I also have a link down in the video description to the Sportsbook Review channel where you can find me live 4 times a week, including 1 hour before kickoff every Sunday morning over at Sportsbook Review. Me and my guy Donnie Rightside, who is now joining us for every Final Look video tomorrow. The Final Look will be out tomorrow morning on the West Coast, afternoon in the East Coast. So be sure to check all that out. I thank you all so much. Also, by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and leaving a comment in the comment section, you qualify for our weekly $50 PayPal giveaway, and that is brought to us by our friends over at Tax Relief Advocates. They can make your tax debt disappear, whether it's $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, $100,000. If you're paying old debts from an ex-wife, school loans, it doesn't matter what it is. They will make it disappear faster than the Eagles' playoff chances this year. You can give them a call at 1-800-411-9633, and you can find that in the scroll down below, so be sure to check all that out. Don't forget my friends over at Overlay DFS. You'll find that in the scroll down there. It's a lot of fun. The matchup shop allows you to now parlay fantasy play picks with point spreads for players. It's a ton of fun. We've had a lot of people win over there. Be sure to hit them up on Twitter at Overlay DFS. Ask about their first deposit bonus. As usual, for any news, updates, information, etc., you can follow me on Twitter at Dfs Bachelor. I try to answer all the questions I get over there, as well as links to the videos, links to my Sportsbook Review videos, etc. So tons of stuff over there. And as usual, if you want my player pool cheat sheet, you want to use the mass lineup generator and set your exposures using my player pool, using your own player pool, using the lineup optimizer, cash game optimizers. I have my top 10 weekly PPR rankings for you season-long players there. Also, my top 10 best and worst wide receiver cornerback matchups. All of that is right there over at Sportsbook Review or over at Draft Dashboard. You can get access to this tool by clicking that link in the video description below. Try it for 30 days for $1. After this video, at the end, I will make a sample lineup using my Core 4. We'll lock it into the optimizer, and we will make a quick video, so that should be a lot of fun. So let's get started, and let's start at the quarterback position. And right now, for me, there's a bunch of good options at quarterback this week. Obviously, Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott, and what could be a shootout. I like Cam Newton an awful lot against the Vegas Raiders, but right now, for me, I like Kyler Murray. This guy is absolutely on fire. In terms of quarterbacks on the Millionaire Maker slate, he has the second most carries behind only Cam Newton with 21 rushes. He's throwing the ball over the field. He's 6,800 on Draftkings. He's 8,400 on Fanduel. Detroit has allowed the 8th most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks so far this season. I like Kyler Murray a ton at home. I think he's going to have a big week. I have him in my fantasy football lineups as well. I like Kyler Murray an awful lot against Detroit this week, so you can sign me up for that. Let's go to the running back spot. Now, at running back, there's a lot of value, obviously, some injuries this week, etc. But when you look across the board, when you just look at the matchups and a team that needs a win and the pricing on both sides, especially on DraftKings, I really like Miles Sanders. Cincinnati, a very porous run defense. They've allowed the second most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers over the first 2 weeks, or opposing running backs, rather, over the first 2 weeks of the season. He made his return last week after missing game one, had 20 carries, was targeted in the passing game 7 times. Jalen Reagor is now going to be out for the Eagles, so he could be even more involved in the passing game. Miles Sanders played 79% of the snaps in his first game back. I like him an awful lot this week. Miles Sanders at 6,400 on Draftkings and 7,400 on Fanduel. I like that a lot. When you look at Fanduel too, Jonathan Taylor's over at 6,700 on Fanduel against the Jets. I really like that play as well. Let's go over to the wide receiver position, shall we? And if I'm playing Kyler Murray, I'm going to go ahead and stack this week. Now, Kyler Murray is a guy you do not have to stack because of his rushing floor. And all the different ways he gets the ball out of his hands, the receiving backs, Drake and Edmonds, of course, Larry Fitzgerald, Christian Kirk, etc. But DeAndre Hopkins has been an absolute beast. He's 7-9 on DraftKings. He's 8-5 on FanDuel. And with all the value, I'm able to pay up at quarterback and wide receiver this week. And I'm with 13 games on the slate, I'm not worried if it ends up being a little chalky because there's plenty of ways to differentiate my lineup. DeAndre Hopkins is going to see a bunch of Amani Aromayaye, who's given up, 0.22 fantasy points per out run against. He's going to see Desmond Trufant. The Lions have allowed the 10th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers over the first 2 weeks of the season. They're at home. He's been targeted 25 times over the first 2 weeks. A nice high total in this game, sitting at 55.5 right now. Murray to Hopkins, I think you can count on them for 20-plus DraftKings points, especially where it's a full point per reception. I love that duo, love that matchup this week. So I'm going with DeAndre Hopkins. And finally, let's go to the tight end spot. Now, at the tight end spot, it's a little bit different on FanDuel and DraftKings. DraftKings, you need to start to pay down a little bit. On FanDuel, there's a lot of players so cheap that you can kind of pay up for a guy like a Dallas Goedert. It's like 5.2 on FanDuel. I don't mind that. He's sitting at 4.9 on DraftKings. And, you got Jordan Reed at 4K on DraftKings, but he's 5.3 on FanDuel. George Kittle was ruled out today, so Jordan Reed with Nick Mullins at quarterback against the Giants is certainly playable. But I'm going to go back to the well, the same tight end we went to last week. He's been targeted 17 times over the first 2 weeks. The Cleveland Browns have been torched by opposing tight ends the first 2 weeks of the season. Mark Andrews in week 1, and then, of course, Drew Sample and CJ Uzoma before he got hurt last week on Thursday Night Football. I like Logan Thomas again at 3,700 on DraftKings, 4.9 on FanDuel. It frees up some salary for everything else. Again, the 17 targets I'm very encouraged by. He had a big week 1, slowed down week 2, didn't have many big plays. Dwayne Haskins didn't look great. Again, that was against Arizona, whose defense has improved this year, but Cleveland's defense, especially against tight ends, has been porous over the first 2 weeks, and I love that target share at 3,700. So if I go with that core 4 of Kyler Murray, Miles Sanders, DeAndre Hopkins, and Logan Thomas, that leaves me 5,040 per player on DraftKings, and that's without choosing a defense, so tons of salary to work with. And on FanDuel, it leaves you 6,160 without choosing a defense, so plenty of salary to work with. I think that works out a lot. So that's my core 4. Now let's make some sample lineups. Before we get there, let me show you, for those of you who sign up for Draft Dashboard, I get this question a lot, how do I find your player pool? First things first, you need to use the link in the video description below. When you use that link and try it for 30 days for $1, when you get to the football tab up here, you'll see a button that says watched players. It doesn't matter if it says 0, if it says 100. Whatever you're watching, you click that Watch Players tab. And when you do, you will see a blue box at the top that says Watch DFS Bachelor's Picks. You simply click that box. It will highlight my player pool. You can use that in the lineup optimizer. You can compare it to your own player pool. Set your exposures how you wish to do. If you're going to use the mass lineup generator, generate 150 lineups, import them into FanDuel, import them into DraftKings, however you wish to do it. There's instructions with how to do it on the site. Then you simply click the lineup optimizer now. It'll show you a timestamp as well when I updated it, so you know how recently I've updated that player pool. Then you can take it to the lineup optimizer. So we're going to lock in our core 4, right? So let's get over here to Kyler Murray, and we'll hit this little lock icon right here. Again, the mass lineup generator tool is up here. You can go there and do that. The late swap optimizer is great. If you have a late scratch and you need to quickly get a player in and out of your lineups, you can upload your lineups back in here to Draft Dashboard, re-optimize, and upload them back in. So we'll hit that lock button. We'll lock in Kyler Murray. Let's get to Miles Sanders here at 6'4". We're starting here on DraftKings. Let's lock him in. Let's get to wide receiver. Lock in DeAndre Hopkins. And let's go to tight end, and we will lock in, of course, Logan Thomas here at 3,700. So now we lock them in. We will re-randomize this. We'll regenerate a lineup with those players locked in and see what we get. So this gave us, I like this lineup already. Kyler Murray, Miles Sanders, Chris Carson against Dallas, Russell Gage. Julio Jones is very iffy for this week. I love the Russell Gage play. Deontay Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, Logan Thomas. Then it went Higbee and Panthers D. I like Higbee at tight end. I generally don't play two tight ends. It will be a way to differentiate your lineup. Certainly not playing the Carolina defense. So I come over here to the Patriots defense, who I'm going to put in. I have yet to set my player pool for the defenses, so that's why I just put a random one in there. And then now we need to save some money here at the flex position, and so we just kind of go through and see who we like to play here. Dallas Goedert, Jerick McKinnon, Anthony Miller against that Atlanta secondary. Devin Singletary is someone to keep an eye on. I actually really like Devin Singletary this week due to the possibility that Zach Moss may not play. I have yet to check the injury reports today. But I think that's certainly a way you could go if maybe you want more PPR action on DraftKings because it's a full point per reception. You want to do a triple stack with Kenyon Drake. I don't mind that against Detroit. Melvin Gordon's going to be all by his lonesome against Tampa Bay. So that gives you some savings there. And then you're like, hey, I could pay up higher than Singletary if I wish to take someone else like a Michael Gallup or a CeeDee Lamb. I think that's a really solid lineup right there. Murray, Sanders, Gordon, Gage, Deontay Johnson against Houston. Hopkins, Thomas, CeeDee Lamb, and the Patriots defense. It leaves 300 on the table, which you always want to do in the Millionaire Maker contest because most casual fans are going to be inclined to use all of their salary. So by simply leaving salary on the table, you've already differentiated yourself. We'll save that and see how that sample lineup goes this weekend. Let's go over to Fanduel and we'll do the same thing. Let it generate here and we'll lock in the players we like. Oh, it's already got Kyler Murray. I like that, so let's lock him in. We know that we like Miles Sanders at 7'4". Let's lock him in. Could do this for both sides. You see, just click up here and change the website right there. DeAndre Hopkins is there. I like that. Let's lock him in. And at tight end, let's go ahead and lock in Logan Thomas at 4'9". I talked about it. Like a guy like Dallas Goedert at 5'2" makes a ton of sense on FanDuel, by the way. So I like that as well. So now we got those four locked in. Let's regenerate this lineup. Let it fill its last few players in here. Here we go. So spit out Murray, Sanders, Drake, Metcalf, McLaurin, Hopkins, Zach Ertz, Logan Thomas, and Steelers defense against Houston. Now, I want Thomas at tight end. I appreciate what they did there, but I want Thomas at tight end, so I'll come over here and put him at tight end there. Now, we talked about the price for Jonathan Taylor on FanDuel. I love that price at 6'7". I like DK Metcalf a lot. You want part of that passing game, but the real advantage this week is going to be Tyler Lockett. So if I can fit him in. So now we got to do some savings because we have Derrick Henry in there. I mentioned I like the Patriots defense a lot against the Raiders. I don't mind the Steelers either. So now we just need to get some salary savings. We got Terry McLaurin against Cleveland. I'll probably try to look elsewhere. Maybe even an Amari Cooper. If we can fit that in. I like Amari Cooper against that Seattle secondary. So now we need to save some money here at the flex on FanDuel. So we'll come down here and start looking for some plays. We got Deshaun Jackson sitting there at 5'5". Jonnu Smith, 5'6". Russell Gage, CeeDee Lamb. I think you could pop in Russell Gage right there. I think that's a really solid FanDuel lineup. Now, look, we used all of our salary. So do we want to be inclined to maybe save on a defense? Maybe the Eagles against Cincinnati. Maybe the Titans against the Vikings. Get some savings and leave some salary on the table there. Again, click the link. Try it for 30 days for $1. Get my player pool. Use all the tools there. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, Be a part of the team. Our final look will be out tomorrow. Donnie Seymour, my partner in crime at Sportsbook Review, just absolutely immensely full of football and NFL betting knowledge, will be on the show with me. We'll also be live tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, to go over all bets, questions, everything. So join us over at Sportsbook Review. That link is down there as well. Don't forget to check out my friends at overlaydfs.com. If you need tax help, call my guys at Tax Relief Advocates. Be part of the giveaway. Like the video, subscribe, leave a comment. Thank you all so much for watching. May the fantasy gods be with you. A big cheers to you all. Goodbye, folks.